Hello viewers, Super GT here, back on Gran Turismo Sport. So this is one of the manufacturer races by the FIA of all people. So you sign up for a manufacturer. I've gone with Mercedes in this case. We're going to see myself come up next. I'm 5th on the grid. So behind a Beetle, there I am. F4H Super GT. I've signed for Mercedes. I kind of wish I would in real life, but maybe that's a very distant dream, me driving for Mercedes. But here we go then. It's a 10-lap race around Suzuka, so a fairly lengthy race, perhaps over 20 minutes, or it will be over 20 minutes. Each lap is over 2 minutes, so 2 times 10 is 20, so it should take a little bit over 20. Here we go then, into the first couple of corners. We're up behind a Beetle. The Beetle's a very strong car actually, might be surprising to those of you who haven't really experienced this game, but the Beetle is actually very, very quick in this class. So coming through the sweeping S curves at Suzuka, 5th place on the grid. Now you're going to see some aggression here from this Beetle. We already saw it just there, kind of pushing, well, and again immediately pushing the Spaniard right out. The Spaniard who was actually 2nd on the grid. I kind of lose out there to a Frenchman in a Beetle. So down into 6th place as we go into Deckner curves. The Beetle a little bit wide, but just manages to rejoin the circuit before it goes really wrong for him. So 6th place, okay, not a disaster. We're still in the race. 1st place is just there, and the Beetle once again pushing wide the German at the hairpin. Awful move, and I've done an awful move here. Bit of oversteer. Could not control the car as much as I would have liked there, and just it's the most innocuous little spin you ever see, and I've lost a couple of seconds and a couple of positions down into 7th. So really not a good lap actually. It's gone from bad to worse, losing a couple of positions, although we did only start 5th, down 2, although you know you never really want to be losing positions too many on the first lap. So we've got a bit of work to do here. Luckily 10 laps to do it in, so plenty of time here to try to regather our thoughts and our talent and try to do something about getting back up into a better and more respectable position. Just going over that curve very frighteningly fast, corner 130R into the chicane for the first lap, and we're through there very nicely. I'm running traction control level 1. I felt like on 0 it was really, really difficult. I mean, you saw I just spun at the exit of the hairpin, and that was even with some assist. So yeah, having to be really, really careful on acceleration, and in order to prevent obviously another spin. Catching right up to the back of the Dutchman in the BMW, and then we have another British guy in the Ferrari just up ahead. So gonna try to really get my way past this guy as quick as possible, because I mean just before this you do a qualifying session, so a 10-minute qualifying session. So of course everyone's on the grid in their order of how quick they are really. So I qualified ahead of this guy. I should be quicker than him, so I don't really want to be hanging behind him too long. You can see there he actually just almost slightly moved across on me as we went into the Degners. No worries though, I mean I was kind of thinking about going for a move, but he blocked it off, and on the exit, a bit shaky from him. I'm going to lose even more time as we go into the hairpin. You see the Ferrari just streaking away now, maybe a second or two on this lap. Bit of oversteer. He's had a very reminiscent kind of spin to me. He just about managed to control it better than I did though. So fair play to him. Right, coming through towards Spoon Curve, bit of contact and forced very wide. I still have the inside line though. There we go, into the corner. He turned in, we made contact, but I think I was on the inside. So we're going to continue here. A little bit wide of the apex, the second apex there at Spoon Curve. Very difficult corner to take correctly. So lap 3 kind of went on with very little incident. You see there the gap opening up massively to the guys behind. And looking forwards, the Ferrari did a good job until this moment where he just decides to drive straight off the track. Maybe he had contact from the aggressive Austrian up ahead in the Beetle, who we saw kind of ramming everyone out of the way on lap 1. So we're going to have to watch out for that guy. So we do have the Ferrari behind us. He seemed very quick in lap 2 and 3, getting away from me maybe a second a lap. So he was very, very, very fast indeed. So we're going to have to really try and focus to go forwards, but in the back of our mind we know that this guy's behind, although he is about 3.5 seconds behind at this moment, so he's not an immediate threat unless I make a big error, make a big mistake. So through Degner 2, the car just really flows through there very nicely. Obviously you've got to be very careful with the exit. So this is the beginning of lap number 5 then. The gap kind of stayed fairly constant to the guys ahead, and I do like this in longer races, trying to settle down into a rhythm, try to get that gap down. I mean, when you're doing like a 2-3 lap race and it's only lasting a couple of minutes, it's really all over before it started. The Austrian, the aggressive, angry Austrian's just driven him straight off. So I've been handed 4th place on a plate, as easy as you like. So that's 4th place. I'm one better than where I qualified, which is always good. I mean, if you're the 5th fastest in qualifying and you manage to improve on that, that's always a good thing, I think. Unless of course your qualifying performance was rubbish and you qualified below where you really ought to. But in this case I think it was a justified 5th position, so we're going to try to really improve that if we can. So up by 1 position already, and now you can see here we're already onto the tail of the Beetle, the Frenchman in the Beetle. So he overtook me at the very start of the race, or halfway through lap number 1. And eventually managed to reel him in by halfway through the race entirely. So he's just pushed me a little bit wide there. I'm just going to keep it on the circuit, block off the second apex. I don't think he's gone for it. So frustratingly losing a bit of sportsmanship rating there, but it's not too much of a problem because, I mean, currently I am now sportsmanship rating S actually, and then driver rating A. So just by having a little session, I basically had a session where I thought, right, I'm just going to keep it really clean, not hit anyone, or do my best to avoid contact at all costs, even if I have to lose a position. And that rating, both ratings went up quite quickly, so it is worth just having a couple of clean races. Actually, I think I might be driver rating B, sorry, but sportsmanship S. But both do go up very quickly if you are very clean for a couple of races. They do improve. So we're on to lap number 6 then. The gap behind not too big, less than a second. So we have the Frenchman in the Beetle, we have the Brit in the Ferrari. Actually, the Ferrari guy has just disappeared. Not sure what happened, because he was right on the tail of that Beetle at the end of lap 5. We're only at the start of lap 6 now, so within the last half a lap he's kind of just got mutilated somewhere. I'm not really sure what the hell happened. Perhaps that angry Austrian come out of somewhere and just punted him off, but he is still in 5th place. So through the long left of Dunlop Curve into the Degner's beautiful corners these. I mean, this track really does flow very nicely. It has a brilliant flow to it. Great range of corners. As we exit the Degner 2 into the hairpin, very tricky to get right. I think I'm braking just on the 2 cones. I mean, that marker with the 2 cones is pretty much correct. It's not always correct in every car, but it turns out for this one it is just about right. So I'm really enjoying this Manufacturers Cup. So the FIA approves series here. All you basically do, you open it up, you sign for a manufacturer, anyone you like, it's your choice. I went for Mercedes. I'm a big fan of Mercedes, so I thought, okay, we'll go for them. So you get a little contract, and then you just try to really do your best for this manufacturer. Obviously, you're racing for yourself, really. It's not like Mercedes are going to come to my house and give me a load of money. Maybe they might, though. You never know. You never know what might happen. Toto, if you're watching, sign me up. I could probably do a better job than Valtteri. You never know. We'll see. Okay, then into the chicane. This is lap number 6 of 10. A little bit deep, actually. That's going to really hand the initiative back to the Beetle, who is still within a second. So this really is a matter of pressure transferring to me. And by the end of lap 7, you can see some of that pressure really be applied. As I come through 130R, just dip 2 wheels onto the curb. Big moment, massive moment. That could have gone massively wrong and turned into a massive disaster. Luckily, just about managed to correct it in time to rescue my life, quite frankly. That could have ended very badly. So over the line we go to start lap number 8. 3 laps remaining in the race. The Beetle is within a second, still within a second. We know that he's right there. Sometimes it's best not to look back too much. On the straights, of course, it's just good just to have a quick look, but I do prefer to look at the timings on the left-hand side of the screen there. So we see I don't know if you can quite see it, but just under my name it says 0.7, 0.6. It's constantly changing, which is really good. It's really useful to know exactly how far behind they are, because another thing about that, you can use it to see if you're gaining on a straight or in the corners. And I think the Beetle was very good in the corners, very fast through this section here, of course. I mean, lots of corners at Suzuka, of course, but then last sector, a lot more straight lines, so I should be able to get away through the last sector, and obviously the main straight as well. So through the Degners, plenty of curb on the exit, nearly 3 tenths up on my previous best. So lapping in the 202s mostly. My qualifying lap was a high 203, which put me in 5th place on the grid, of course. So a 202, constant 202s, not bad going. The fastest lap of the race so far, just on the left-hand side in the middle of the screen, 2 minutes 0.9 by the German in the lead. So that's obviously a very good lap, a lot better than I could manage. But obviously just do my best. And as you go through the race, I mean, it's not like I did millions of laps of practice. As you go through the race, you learn a lot more, especially by following some faster guys. And you should really improve your lap time as you go through the race, as you learn more, which is kind of the case here. I mean, my fastest lap was lap 6 into 130R, clipping the apex nicely, just maximising the power as much as possible without touching that curb on the outside, into the chicane, braking perfectly for that, just grazing the curb on either side there. On the exit, it's actually quite difficult to go through this part flat out without spinning the car. Just about managed it that time. Across the line, 201.7. That's a really good lap. Just 8 tenths off the best lap of the race. We are then just going to go to the end of the race. This is lap number 10, the final sector of the race. So we are about 20 minutes in now. Go through Spoon Curve on the exit. There we go, hooking up nicely. Now the Beetle, the gap kind of opened up to just over 2 seconds. Although until lap 9 it was still around a second, so the Beetle really did put pressure on me for a very long time, and it was only really one mistake that I had to make before he was going to go past me. So luckily on the end of the race here, just opening up that gap just gave me a bit of breathing space really, and just took the pressure off. I knew that I didn't really have to really push for this last sector, which is good to know. But there we go, it's going to be a 3rd place, which is good. I started 5th, up into 3rd, a good result I think in the end. And really enjoying GT Sport Online. I mean, these FIA races, you have a couple of minutes warm up, 10-minute qualifying, and then a 20-minute race. It's just a really good format, a really good time length, just to be sat there for like about 45 minutes and just have a really good racing experience. A couple of incidents in there, but on the whole, very good and enjoyable. And honestly, if you're thinking about getting GT Sport and a PS4, I'd really recommend it, because I think it's a really good game, and obviously they're adding the single player as well in December, so plenty more to come as well. But that's it for this one. Thank you for watching as always, guys. I shall see you next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.